All right, Shalom. Before I get started, I want to give all the praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham Rakapadash. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who taught me this truth. Shalom to the hopeful elect. I'm back with another quick lesson through the Holy Spirit of Rakapadash. Pray this lesson is edifying to the hopeful elect. To the hopeful elect. All right, so just wanted to get into something that I was just thinking about, meditating on this morning. There's a repeated lesson that the Lord is showing us in the spirit, and that is your own way is not going to cut it. All right, let's repeat that again. Your own way is not going to cut it. All right, a lot of men don't respect the order and structure of this ministry. All right, and when you step out of those boundaries, it never goes well for these guys. And the Lord is showing us that repeatedly. All right, and I want to grab this because at the end of the day, whether you like it or not, all right, you're going to respect the order and the structure of this ministry, man. Bottom line. All right. So I had a couple scriptures just dealing with the obedience and respect for the elders, man. All right. So let's get some of those. So again, as I said, just thinking about it, all right, again, your own way is not going to work out for you. All right, your own way is not going to cut it. Bottom line, we've been seeing it over and over again. This is one thing that I've noticed throughout the years, okay, of me being in the faith. I mean, I'm going on, 10 years, 11 years, which is nothing, but, these are the things that I've been seeing happen over and over again, man. And these are lessons for us to all learn from. All right, but anyway, let's grab this real quick. All right, this is let's go to Hebrews 13. And I want to read this verse in the NLT, but I'll read it in the KJV first. All right, and I hope my humidifier is not too loud in the background. It's hot as hell up here. But anyway, this is Hebrews 13 and 5. Okay. I'm sorry, this is Hebrews 13 and 7. It says, remember them which have the rule over you, who have spoken unto you the word of the Most High, whose faith, it says, whose faith follow considering the end of their conversation, all right? And I want to read this scripture in the NLT, all right? So this same verse, Hebrews 13, and 7 in the NLT, it says, remember your leaders who taught you the word of the Most High, all right? Remember your leaders who taught you the word of the Most High, all right? You niggas out there are going to stop trying to deem the elders and the apostles as insignificant, man. You're going to cut that shit out, all right? You're going to learn from that, man. You guys that's coming against the order, coming against the structure, coming against the word, you're going to pay, man. And look what the Lord... I got to keep repeating that. Look what the Lord is doing to guys, man. Right? It says, remember your leaders who taught you the word of the Most High. Think of all the good that has come from their lives and follow the example of their faith. Exactly. All right. Jeremiah, 3 and 15? The Lord has given us pastors according to his heart that should feed you with knowledge and understanding, man. Okay? It says, think of all the good that's come from their lives and follow their example of faith. Hey, all the, for you brothers and sisters that's been around, all the stories, all right, all the experience that have came from our apostles, elders, and bishops, the One West days, all right, the things that they've been through, all right, how they have their senses exercised, the scriptures talk about that, right? They've been through all those things to give us what we have now. You see what I'm saying? And guys constantly disrespect that. It's amazing to me, man. All right, here it is. These men have been around before a lot of us were even born, man. But somehow you pop up, a nigga pop up. He's the new school, the new teacher. He has more knowledge than the apostles. They got new breakdowns. All this weird shit, man, doesn't make sense. And you see how the Lord is just moving guys out of the way. So again, as I repeat, and like I said, this is just the spirit that's been on me since last night. I was thinking about this last night. Like I said, your way is not going to cut it, Jake. You doing what you want to do, and you got it. You know, the apostles got it like this. Well, I'm going to do it like this, all right? The shit ain't going to work, man. All right? Time after time, we've seen guys just come into this thing and get chewed up and spit the hell out, man. All right? A lot of men, again, do not respect the order and structure of this ministry, and you're going to respect it, man. Okay? Hebrews 13, and jumping down same chapter. Hebrews 13, in verse 7, it says, obey them that have the rule over you. All right, Jay, you have men that rule over you, man. You niggas need to get out of your egos. You need to get out of your feelings. All right? You have men that were set up through the Holy Spirit that have rule over you, man. Okay? That have hierarchy, man. There's an order and structure in this thing, man. Fall in line and just shut the hell up. Do what you got to do. Play your part. Okay? Hey, do your job. That's one thing that back when I was playing football, that was the main thing. All right? Do your fucking job. Don't worry about the next man. Do your job, man. And you should have that same mindset in this ministry, man. Do your job. Just use what the Lord gave you, man. All right? Stop worrying about trying to be in some type of position and being the main guy. Hey, do your job, man. All right? Utilize what the Spirit of the Lord gave you, man. And everything will be all right. But you got guys that want to go outside those boundaries. And it never works. Right? Hebrews 13:17. Obey them that have rule over you and submit yourselves. Right? And you submit yourself to the boss in your damn job. It says, obey them that have rule over you and submit yourselves, for they watch over your souls. The apostles, the elders, the bishops, the heads. All right? They're watching over your souls, man. Okay? You have men that have been set up as shepherds, if you will. You know, the bishops of your souls, the heads of the churches, man. For they watch over your souls. It says, as they must give account, that they may do it with joy and not with grief, for that is unprofitable for you. Right? Let me get another one. All right? I just want to go down these few scriptures dealing with the just the order and the respect for the elders, man. Let's grab another one. You know? Because these are just the things that was on my mind. It's just like, damn, the Lord is continuously showing us this example over and over again, man. All right? This is 1 Timothy 5:17. It says, let the elders that rule well be counted worthy of double honor, especially they who labor in the word and doctrine, man. This is why we give double honors to our apostles and our elders and our bishops, man. All right, these men have labored in the doctrine. Hey, how's it go? If somebody can post a scripture, I can't think it off the top of my mind, but how we have entered into other men's labors. All right, it's because of them. All right, we heard the word, we heard the word, we believed, and we came in, man. You know, we picked up the plow, so to speak, and got to work. So these men are most definitely counted to be worthy of double honors, man. Okay? Let's get another one. All right, and we'll get into more things, you know. Just want to have these scriptures lined up. All right, let's go to 1 Peter. This is 1 Peter. The water Saquan, hey, Shalom, Yabashimel Shabbatah. Remember to say 144. All right, John 4:38. I sent you to reap that whereon you have bestowed no labor. Other men labored, and you have entered into their labors. Exactly, man. We have entered into their labors. You know, hey, we came across the videos, or we came across, however your walk was, you came across the videos, you came across, you know, the elders, the brothers teaching on the street, and you were compelled, right? And what was being said jive with your spirit, you know, and compelled you to come in. You believed, and you entered into their labors, man, because of these men. So you got to give them the respect where the respect is due, man. All right, GMS South Carolina 08, Shalom Zaquan. All right, this is why is it faded out? This is Ecclesiastes 8:8. It says, despise not the discourse of the wise, right? But acquaint thyself with their proverbs. Exactly. It says, verse 9. I'm sorry. It says, for of them thou shalt learn instruction and how to serve great men with ease. Exactly, man. That's a beautiful scripture, man. This is how we look. Hey, through our leadership, this is how we learn to walk as real men. All right, to be spiritual men. All right, to walk with understanding through this word. Right, it says, verse 9, Ecclesiastes 8:9, miss not the discourse of the elders, for they also learned of their fathers, and them thou shalt learn understanding, and to give answer as need required, man. Beautiful scriptures, man. And you got guys that just totally dismiss that. But again, look how it plays for these men. All right, that don't respect the order and the structure of things, man. Look how they turn out. It always turns out in a horrible case. Guys are looking horrible right now, man. Guys are looking real fucking bad right now. All these guys that we've seen that have came and went, all right, that try to refry, okay, the Gorilla Hebrew, okay, the Mississippi Bugouts, guys that were amongst the body in Charlotte, guys that were amongst the body in various camps, guys that fell away. Look what happened. Perverse doctrines, all right, adding and taking away from the scriptures, man. Just looking horrible, right? Anyway, 1 Peter 5:5. All right, and I'm pretty sure you brothers out there got many examples as well. Brothers that's been in this thing longer than me. 1 Peter 5:1, it says, the elders which are among you I exhort, who am also an elder and a witness of sufferings of Yahushua, and also a partaker of the glory that should be revealed. Verse 2, feed the flock of the Most High which is among you, taking the oversight thereof, not by constraint, but willingly, not for filthy lucre, but of a ready mind. Verse 3, 1 Peter 5:3. Neither as being lords over the Most High's heritage, but being examples to the flock. So we've been called to be examples unto the believers, man. Right? It says, verse 4, and when the chief shepherd shall appear, and the chief shepherd is Yahushua. And when the chief shepherd shall appear, ye shall receive a crown of glory that fadeth not away. And that's what we're all fighting for. We're laboring and we're fighting to be crowned by Yahushua, man. First and foremost, to receive salvation aboard those chariots, man, to make it out of this destruction, to get through Jacob's trouble, to get through the straight gate, man. All right, you got guys, I was, handling business yesterday, but I saw, I believe those bug outs from Genesis talking about, what did they say, based off some of the titles I saw on the feed. I guess like 2/3 were going to get saved or something like that. Tribulation's not going to happen. You brothers that seen it, you know what I'm talking about, man. But guys are waxing worse, man. And these doctrines are so ridiculous at this point. These guys, like we said, we've been telling you this. These guys they're agents, man. They're hirelings, man. There's no way. I mean, don't get me wrong. The Lord could bug a nigga out, but it's like, at this point, it's like, it don't even make sense, man. Guys are just paid actors. Like Alazar said, hey, niggas are cosplaying, man. At this point, right? Refrain from these niggas, yo. Anyway, First Peter 5:5, it says likewise. You younger, submit yourselves unto the elder. Yea, all of you be subject to another, and be clothed with humility. For the Most High resisteth the proud. You see that? That's a key point right there. The Most High resisted the proud. Look what happened to guys that step outside of those parameters, start getting proud, think that they got it on their own. I can do it better than what's going on here. right? And the Lord is just zapping niggas. The spirit is being removed. Guys are just leaking oil. All right? Clean up on aisle 5, man. Shit is bad right now. For the Most High resisted the proud and giveth grace to the humble. Verse 6. Humble yourselves, therefore, under the mighty hand of the Most High, that he may exalt you in due time. It's not about you exalting yourself. Okay? The Most High will exalt you. He will raise you up in due time, man. All right? You got guys that want to raise it themselves. You know? You can't pop up on a team and make yourself the starter. That's the spirit that a lot of guys is in. Well, I deserve to be, you know, I deserve to start, coach. It's up to the coach to put you in that lineup, man. Or you know what? Hey, I'm going to just leave and make my own team. You see? And look how that plays out. You know? It says, humble yourselves, therefore, under the mighty hand of the Most High, that he may exalt you in due time, casting all your care upon him, for he cared for you. Verse 8, it says, be sober, be vigilant, because your adversary, the devil, as a roaring lion, walketh about, seeking whom he may be devoured. And like we said before, there's a lot of guys that's being devoured right now, man. Guys are being devoured big time, man. Guys are being sifted like crazy. Spirit's being taken from them. The oil is being drawn out from them. Right? And they're just being cast to the side. Guys are denouncing the heritage. You know, I'm not a Hebrew Israelite no more. And, you know, the apostles ain't got the truth. 2/3 ain't the 2/3. And, you know, Babylon's not America. All this different shit that we've seen throughout the years, man. Unbelievable. Right? This is 1 Corinthians. Grab a few more. And I pray I'm not ranting, you know, but that was just on my spirit, you know. This is 1 Corinthians 4 and 40. 1 Corinthians 4, I'm sorry. 1 Corinthians 14 and 40. All right, let's get that real quick. 1 Corinthians 14 and 40 says, let all things be done decently and in order. All right? Plain Jane, man. Let all things be done decently and in order. There's order, whether you niggas despise it or whatever, hey, there's order and structure. However you want to look at it, man. You're gonna have to come under men. All right? You're gonna be led, you're gonna be guided, you're gonna be told what to do. All right? And you got men that can't deal with that. And look what happens to them. Right? Ephesians 4. Grab one more. And then we'll go on to the main part. These are the scriptures about dealing with the order and structure in the church. All right? I was just looking up some stuff. Right? But this is Ephesians 4. And we'll start at verse 11, right? So this is Ephesians 4 and verse 11, and it reads, it says, and he gave some, I'm sorry, bear with me. God, I want to get something else first before I get that. All right. Bear with me, big dog. What was that one? It was one in Romans too. Let me see. Let me find that one. I want to get that one in Romans first. I think it was Romans the 12th chapter. Speaking out loud. This is Romans 12. And yeah. This is Romans 12 and man, really to start at the top. Romans 12 and 1, it says, I beseech you therefore, brethren, by the mercies of the Most High, that you present your bodies a living sacrifice, wholly acceptable unto the Most High, which is your reasonable service, right? Now, it was heavy too. You know, I remember seeing the headline from, I believe it was Elder Apostle Gabar about, you know, basically, roughly paraphrasing it, but like lying and butchering the scriptures is equal to, like, putting up a corrupt sacrifice. And that's what guys are doing. All right, guys that are not abiding by the true doctrine, that are, adding and taking away from the scriptures, they're putting up a corruptible sacrifice, man, which is not pleasing to the Most High. Right? Just like Cain, because Cain had the oral law, he knew what to do, right? But he still gave a wicked sacrifice, a corruptible sacrifice, man. And it's the same thing guys are doing with concerning the doctrine. So I thought that was pretty heavy when I saw that headline on the feed, man. Right? It says, present your body a living sacrifice, wholly acceptable unto the Most High, right? Which is your reasonable service. It says, and be not conformed to this world, but be ye transformed by the renewing of your mind. And we see that, through our experience, that a lot of guys have not been transformed and renewed in the mind. All right, guys were cloaked with that old nigga still in the truth. That you may prove what is good and acceptable and perfect will of the Most High. Verse 3 says, for I say, through the grace given unto me, to every man that is among you, not to think of himself more highly than he ought to think. You see that? And how often have we seen that? Let's read that again. Romans 12:3, for I say, through the grace given unto me, that every man that is among you, not to think of himself more highly than he ought to think. And we've been seeing that. Guys learn a couple precepts and get high-minded, start thinking they're better than brothers in the camp, and they know more than the apostles, and they need to start their own thing. Guys think they're the main character. It says, but to think soberly, according as the Most High have dealt to every man the measure of faith. For as we have members, Salaki says, for as we have many members in one body, and all members have not the same office. Verse 5, so we, being many, are one body in Yahushua, and every one members one of another. Verse 6, having then gifts differing according to the grace that is given to us, whether prophecy, let us prophesy according to the proportion of faith. So the Lord has blessed us with different gifts to edify in this ministry, man. Hey, some brothers are immaculate in the Hebrew. Some brothers are beautiful with the history, the precepts, whatever, right? But we all been blessed with those various gifts to edify the body, right? Verse 7, or ministry, let us wait on ministering, or he that teacheth on teaching, or he that exhorteth on exhortation. He that giveth, let him do it with simplicity. He that ruleth with diligence. He that showeth mercy with cheerfulness. Right. So, just going into those different aspects, right? Now let's go to Ephesians 4 real quick. All right, Ephesians 4:11, it says, and he gave some apostles, and some prophets, and some evangelists, and some pastors, and teachers, for the perfecting of the saints, for the work of the ministry, for the edifying of the body of Hamashiach Yahushua. That's what it's all about. All right? Nothing more, nothing less. And again, once you step out of those boundaries, right, it never goes well. Verse 13, until we all come in the unity of faith, into the knowledge of the Son of the Most High, unto a perfect man, unto the measure and of the stature in the fullness of Hamashiach Yahushua. Verse 14, that we henceforth be no more children, tossed to and fro, and carried about with every wind of doctrine, by the sleight of men, and cunning craftiness, whereby they lie waiting until they watch Salaki, whereby they lie in wait to deceive. But speaking the truth in love may grow up into him in all things, which is the head, even Yahweh Shai, from whom the body, the whole body, fitly joined together and compacted by that which every joint supplieth, according to the effectual working in the measure of every part. Right? Every joint, every part of the body is crucial, man. You know, one is not more better or more significant than the other, man. Everybody's talent, everybody's measure, it all plays a crucial role into the edification of the body. Okay, every member counts. It says, maketh increase of the body unto the edifying of itself in love. You see that? Beautiful, man. Right? So that's the point. So let's go on. Right? Because the point again is your own way is not going to cut it. It never works. Right? Let's go to what do we want? Let's go to Titus, right? We can start with that one. All right, let's go to Titus 1. Let's start at 7, all right? This is the book of Titus, chapter 1, verse 7. And it reads, for a bishop must be blameless, all right? A bishop is what? The head of the church, right? For a bishop must be blameless as the steward of the Most High, not self-willed, not soon angry, not given to wine, nor striker, not given to filthy lucre, right? But a lover of hospitality, a lover of good men, sober, just, holy, temperate, all right, self-controlled, discipline. It says, verse 9, Titus 1 and 9, holding fast the faithful word as he had been taught. All right, we see guys that are not doing that he may be able by sound doctrine both to exhort and to convince the gainsayers. All right, verse 10, for there are many unruly and vain talkers and deceivers, especially they of the circumcision, right? The point, verse 11, whose mouths must be stopped, who subvert whole houses. All right, that word subvert means to overthrow. And it said whose mouths must be stopped. And look what the Lord has done to certain guys that have popped up with these perverse names, doctrines, adding and taking away of the scriptures. All right, the Lord has stopped these guys. The guys have literally gave up and stopped teaching. Right? It says, whose mouths must be stopped, who subvert whole houses, teaching things they ought not, for filthy lucre's sake. Right? Guys selling out, taking a bag, corrupting the doctrine. Right? All for money. For worldly gain, whatever. It says one of themselves, even a prophet of their own, said the Cretans are always liars, evil beasts, slow bellies. Right? This witness is true. Wherefore rebuke them sharply. All right, rebuking is part of the doctrine. All right, rebuke them sharply, that they may be sound in the faith. That's the point of rebuking somebody, man, that they may be on point in the doctrine. Okay? It says, not giving heed to Jewish fables and the commandments of men that turn from the truth. All right? Because, you got a lot of our people that are just obsessed with mythology and, shit that's, outside of the parameters of the truth, man. All right? All these different books. Hey, a lot of our people are caught up into all of this shit. The Anunnaki, Planet X, right? All this weirdo stuff, man. Right? That turn men from the truth. Right? Like we say, the word itself, the doctrine itself is not good enough for Jake. Jake always wants to find some extra shit and try to merge it into the truth. It never works. Verse 15. Unto the pure all things are pure, right? The ones that believe, all right? The ones that have the gift of faith, all right? That believe in the sound doctrine in Yahweh Shem Rashad, right? Unto the pure all things are pure, but unto them that are defiled and unbelieving is nothing pure. But even their mind and conscience is defiled. Yeah, that's why, you got Jake always trying to, find a loophole. They're always trying to question things. They're not solidified in the doctrine. It's always some type of, what about this? What about that? Whatever excuse they have to not fully believe, if that makes sense. Verse 16. They profess that they know the Most High, but in works deny him, being abominable and disobedient, and unto every good work reprobate, man. And look what we've seen. I'm gonna keep saying that. Look what we've seen. Use your mind. Look what we have seen lately with these guys, man. They profess they know the Most High. They follow the Lord. They believe in the Bible, they say, right? But the scriptures say what? But in works they deny him. All right? You got guys that are actually teaching the doctrine, saying that they're perfect in the law. You got guys that are saying that they keep all the commandments, bro. And they're saying this shit with a straight face. That you don't have to worship Yahweh Shai, man. You got guys saying that. Right? It says being abominable, disobedient, and unto every good work reprobate. Straight reprobates, man. Right? Guys exalting themselves to be the chief high priest, and you find out dude is a whole faggot. It's wild times out here, man. Right? Guys saying to take the juice, and when they push that chip, they're going to tell you to take the chip. You don't got to keep the Sabbath. All types of stuff, man. These scriptures that we're reading here in this lesson today are being fulfilled right now before us. Let's grab some more. Right? Let's go to 2 Timothy 4. All right. 2 Timothy 4 and 1. I charge thee therefore before the Most High and the Lord Yahweh Shah HaMashiach, who shall judge the quick and the dead at his appearing in his kingdom. Preach the word, be instant in season and out of season, reprove and rebuke, exhort with all long suffering and doctrine, man. Like I said, preach the word in season, out of season, man. There's no breaks. All right. You're not going to take winters off. All right. This thing is all year round. Right. As you see, certain guys do that too. Verse 3. For the time will come when they will not endure sound doctrine. Right. But after their own lust shall they heap to themselves teachers having itching ears. And I remember Elder Apostle Har said this years ago. This truth is a hustle for a lot of guys, man. As we've been seeing, a lot of guys have been using the ministry to push a brand, to exalt their name, to get money out of everybody. All right, to merchandise the truth, man. This word is literally a hustle for a lot of guys, man. All right, a lot of these guys that you see who set themselves up as being leaders, all right, these guys are just hucksters, man. All right, just to get money out you, man. You see what again, prime example, you see what Al-Azhar did. Okay, he got all the money he could, and once he got exposed for being a punk, now he's on to the next venue. Right, now the nigga turned in, he went from an Israelite to a fucking gang banging streamer, man. Nasty work, man. But you see that, you know? Verse 4. And they should turn away their ears from the truth and should be turned into fables, right? It says, but watch thou, but watch thou, but watch thou in all things and endure afflictions. Do the work of an evangelist, make full proof of thy ministry, right? And that's what it's about, man. We got to be on point, all right? And we got to make sure that we rightly dividing this word in truth, man, like the scriptures say. You know, that's part of making full proof of the ministry, man. Doctrine's on point. What we saying is on point. Everything that we say, make sure that it lines up accurately with the scriptures, man. Right? Let's get this. All right? Like I said, it's the spirit just thinking out loud. All right? Your way is not going to work. Look at like I said, look at the repeated lessons that the Lord has been showing us time after time, man. When guys exalt themselves, guys think they got it. Guys don't got to take heed to the orders. They don't got to follow the what's a good word? They don't got to follow the spiritual etiquette. They don't have to follow the spiritual instructions, right? Look what happens. So look what the Lord does to him. He bugs him out. He plagues him, man. He spits him out. Romans 10 in verse 2. Romans 10 and 1, it says, brother, my heart's desire and prayer to the Most High for Israel is that they might be saved. Verse 2, Romans 10 and 2, for I bear them record that they have a zeal of the Most High, but not according to knowledge. Right? And that's a lot of our people, man. Right? A lot of our people have a zeal of a higher power, of an existence of a creator, but not according to knowledge, not according to the truth. Because, hey, Jake is zealous in Islam and, black consciousness and all these other bugged out doctrines, man. But not according to the knowledge, man, to the truth. Verse 3 says, for they being ignorant of the Most High's righteousness and going about to establish their own righteousness, have not submit themselves unto the righteousness of the Most High. That's it. Right? It says, for they being ignorant of the Most High's righteousness and going about to establish their own righteousness, man. Guys think they got it. Guys want to do their own thing. Have not submitted themselves unto the righteousness unto the Most High. And that's what happens, man. Guys don't want to submit. All right? Guys don't want to come under the, like I said, the order and the structure of things, man. Right? And that's equated. Let's get that in John. Just thinking about that. That's equated to trying to climb up some other way. Let's get that too. Your way never works. John 10 and verse 1. And it reads, it says, verily, verily, I say unto you, he that entereth not by the door into the sheepfold, but climbeth up some other way, the same is a thief and a robber. A lot of these niggas are thieves and robbers. Thieves and robbers get punished, right? And when you climb up when you climb up some other way, that's basically not sticking to the sound doctrine, not sticking to what Yahweh Shah would have taught. All right, when you begin to change the doctrine, trim the gospel. When you start adding to the scriptures, you got guys teaching about hell, burning in hell. All right, you got guys teaching about all these different things out here, man, that we've done lessons on. These guys are climbing up another way, and the Lord likened them unto what? A thief and a robber. Right? Verse 2, it says, but he that entereth in by the door is the shepherd of the sheep. To him the porter openeth, and the sheep hear his voice, and calleth his own sheep by name and leadeth them out. All right? It says, verse 4, it says, and when he putteth forth his own sheep, and when he putteth forth his own sheep, he goeth before them, and the sheep follow him, for they know his voice. All right, and that voice, the voice of the Lord, is tied back to the doctrine. Okay? It says the true doctrine. Verse 5, it says, and the stranger will they not follow, but will flee from him, for they know not the voice of strangers. Right? And those strangers going back to those false prophets. Right? And this is why the scripture said, was it in Romans 16? You know, when God started teaching outside of the doctrine, you got to separate yourself from it. Right? Verse 6, it says, this parable spake Yahushua unto them, but they understood not what things they were which he spake unto them. It says, verse 7, then Yahushua unto them again, it says, verily, verily, I say unto you, I am the door of the sheep. All right, Yahushua is the door. All right, and you got to go through him. All that ever came before me are thieves and robbers, but the sheep did not hear them. See that? And the true sheep of the Lord are not gonna hear these robbers, these thieves. All right, these false prophets. They're gonna separate themselves. Right? Verse 9, it says, I am the door. By me, if any man enter in, he shall be saved, and shall go in and out and find pasture. Meaning, you're going to gain more knowledge. All right? It says, verse 10, the thief cometh not but for to steal and to kill and to destroy. I am come that they might have life, and that they might have it more abundantly. All right? So you got a lot of, as you've been seeing, you got a lot of these false brethren, false prophets, scoffers, trying to do their own will. All right? And not the Lord's. And look how it pans out. You know? Verse 11, I am the good shepherd. The good shepherd giveth his life for the sheep. But he that is a hireling and not the shepherd, whose own the sheep are not, seeth the wolf coming, and leaveth the sheep, and fleeth, and the wolf catcheth them and scattereth the sheep. And look what Eleazar did. That nigga bounced, man. I want to get this word for real quick. I'm gonna get this word for wolf in the blue letter. Bear with me, real quick. All right, that word for wolf, it says, whose own sheep are not, and seeth the wolf coming, and leaveth the sheep, and fleeth. All right? That word for wolf, let's pull that up. I had that highlighted. What is lycos in the Greek? It says a wolf. It says metaphorically, of cruel, greedy, rapacious, destructive men. All right? That's all these niggas that we've seen come and go. These guys were cruel, greedy, man. All about themselves, raping the flock. All right? Getting money out of them. You know? Destructive men. It says, let's see if there's any more. Yeah, that's the point, man. So these guys that we've seen. Right? Let's go back and finish it out. Last verse. John 10 and 13, it says, and yeah, you could apply that as well to all these paid off Israelite groups, man. You know? It says, verse 13, John 10 and 13, the hireling fleeth because he is an hireling, and careth not for the sheep. Right? Prime example again, Eleazar, man. That guy fleeth. He got exposed. Right? Now he's disassociating himself with the movement, he says. Right? But the guy was never in the truth anyway, man. The guy was a false prophet, agent, hireling anyway, man. All right? But that's the point, man. Those are the scriptures that I had, just, you know, thinking out loud. All right, again, the point, your way is not going to cut it. And, you know, a lot of men don't respect the order and structure of the ministry, man. And it never pans out for them when they step out of those boundaries, man. You know? So this is just a lesson for all of us to learn from, man, is the point. So I'll leave it there. I pray that this lesson was edifying. Prayer wasn't all over the place. I want to give all praise, honor, and glory to Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahushai, Bahasham, Rakak Kodash. Hey, shalom to the next one. Shalom.